our findings shows that you were on the Nigerian side. No, you were still working on the Nigerian side.
Yes.
You didn't cross over to Biafra.
No, I didn't. No.
Why?
No, because I didn't believe in it. I
You didn't believe in,
at
in
all.
Biafra.
I didn't believe in secession.
Okay, you wanted one Nigeria.
Of course, yes. I mean, coming from my background, an Igbo father, a Hausa Fulani mother, they grew up in Lagos. Where else should I be? One united Nigeria.
It's been an exciting journey documenting the Nigeria history series with the men who built the country, who were at the high points of the making of the history of Nigeria, those who lived and worked the policies, the politics, the military actions, the inventions, the economic decisions that has built our country, Nigeria. It has been an interesting journey with great men and great minds who have shaped our history. Today on Legacy Series, we're sitting down with one of Nigeria's greatest minds. This is one particular interaction that we have all been looking forward to in our crew in the Legacy Series. He is considered as, he is called Mr. Nigeria because he represents everything united Nigeria. Mm-hmm. He is born of Igbo father, Fulani mother, and he's married to a Yoruba Calabari. And he has lived in almost every part of the country, served in different parts of the country. He played key roles at very, very important points in the history of Nigeria. From the fight for the unity of Nigeria to the point where we needed to change our foreign policy to be able to save our economic situation in this country. He is no other person than General Eeku Omar Sandu. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. My name really is Ike Sum.
Ike Sum?
Ike Sum.
Oh, all along I've always thought the Ike Nwachukwu means Ike Chukwu.
Nesum.
Ike
Chukwu Nesum.
Oh,
but in short, Ike Sum Omar Sandu Nwachukwu.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here with you, General.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Let's dive straight into it. You are the most complete Nigerian I've ever met. I admire you a lot from afar. All right. One, just the fact that you embody united Nigeria. Mm-hmm. All right. We would like to start from the, from your background. What was it like growing up in your kind of home at that time, being raised by parents of northern Nigeria, southern Nigeria, and then growing up in the western Nigeria?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, first, I want to say how proud I am to have the kind of parentage that I have. Like you said earlier on, my father, Moses Maduka, is from Uvim, in now Abia State, Eastern Nigeria. My mother, Kachakundu Fatima, is from Katsina.
Katsina?
Yes, in the Katsina state of today. So whatever I am today is because I have this wonderful combination of two incredible individuals who decided to get married, and here I am, and that begot me and my siblings. So what did it look like? Growing up, we were told that there's no difference between the human beings except in their character.
Mm.
Right. So if someone is a bad character, he could be your sibling. He's bad, or she's bad. But if someone else is decent and so on, then that person becomes someone you want to relate with happily. So my parents shared different beliefs. One was a devout Christian, the other a devout Muslim. They all pray to their God in different ways, but knowing that the awesome God is just one God. So the difference is the manner you wish to approach God. No one would force you to approach God the way the other one does, but it's left to you to see which one you prefer to go with. So in my family, we have Christians as we have Muslims. And when it's time to observe the Muslim rituals, we are part of it.
Oh.
When it's time for Christian rituals, of course, we are all part of it. So Ramadan, we fasted along with our mom. At Lent, my mom fasted along with us. Those of us who are Christians. So here, my own siblings, we have Muslims and we have Christians.
Wow.
But we're all Nwachukwu. And not any different, so that's what it is.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very amazing environment to grow up in.
Right.
It helps you to appreciate humans for who they are.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay.
Yes.
Now you began your professional journey with West African Pilot and then Tribune and then transited into military according to our research.
Right. No, you're wrong there. Yes.
Okay.
I started my career, or my working career, working with Daily Service.
Daily Service.
Daily Service was an action group paper at the time.
Oh, it was a newspaper, Daily Service.
Yes, it was Daily Service,
Okay.
an action group paper, published at Alagbon, close there. No, wrong. Published at along, what's the name of this road now? I just have forgotten. But anyway, at the end of our Broad Street there.
Okay.
That's where we had our office. It was led then by Alade Odoyin, who was the editor of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Alade was his pen name.
Okay.
And we had Latif Jakande
That was later became politician.
as the editor-in-chief of the paper.
Oh.
And I had in the newsroom Latif Teniola, who was my news editor. So I started live there, the Daily Service. It then translated into Daily Express. It was from Daily Express that the federal government set up its own paper called the Morning Post, Morning and the Sunday Post. So I was recruited and I joined Morning Post.
What year was this?
62, I think, yeah, 62.
1962.
Right. Then in 1963, I was encouraged by my friends who were military officers then. Mostly are not alive now. Brigadier Musa Usman, who was an Air Force general, my brother-in-law, married my younger sister. The General Murtala Muhammad, who was on the signals at the time. General IBM Haruna, who was also an infantry officer in Ordnance Corps. The General Oro Obada, John Oro Obada, an army officer, then later became an Air Force general because he transferred from the military to the Air Force when the Air Force was formed. And one of my course-mates, my classmate in school, Bob Robert Okafor, he was a lieutenant then at the Federal Gas. And then, of course, during the Civil War, he crossed over to the Biafran forces.
He crossed.
And we lost him.
In the war.
Yes, in the war, yes.
Oh.
So that's my journey. School to daily service,
Daily Service.
to Daily Express, to Morning Post,
Morning Post.
to the Nigerian Army.
To the Nigerian Army. So when you said daily service was owned by Action Group, that's like saying in today's environment, like a newspaper owned by either APC, PDP.
Exactly.
Political parties operated.
They did, yes. Our daily
media houses.
Yeah, the daily service was published by Amalgamated Press, owned then by Western Nigeria.
Western Nigeria.
And there were of course an offshoot of a Tribune.
Oh, okay.
And the Tribune and Daily Service, later Daily Express, were all opposition papers.
At the time. That's an amazing thing to know. All right, now advancing further into the 1966. Now you were already in the military.
Yes.
And then this was when I had a chat with Obasanjo. He said this was the point when Nigeria's story changed. All right?
Yes.
So you were right there. You had just maybe fresh in the army.
No,
and then
I've been 3 years in the army.
3 years in the army.
As an officer.
You were already an officer?
Yes, of course an officer, yes.
Okay, so we would like to know your journey during this, during the coup, counter coup, and then the Nigerian Civil War.
Interesting. When I graduated from Canada, where I did my officer cadet training course, I was posted to 5 Battalion. 5 Battalion was in Kaduna, later moved to Kano, moved to Mogadishu Barracks in Kano. No, wrong. Moved from, it was Mogadishu Barracks in Kaduna to Bukavu Barracks in Kano.
In Kano.
Right. So let's get it clear. I moved from 5 Battalion, we were in Kaduna, Mogadishu Barracks. We moved to Kano, Bukavu Barracks. So I was a young officer there, and I was a lieutenant. And whilst we were there, the January 16, January 15 coup occurred. Then hell was let loose and mayhem and all kinds of things happened. And that was the beginning of the unfortunate change in the body politics of Nigeria.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So at the point, of the counter coup now, you obviously bore an Igbo name, all right? And Igbos were being targeted, all right? How were you saved?
No, when the coup occurred,
the July 1966.
Okay,
coup.
the general coup, no one knew anything about being Igbo or not being Igbo.
For the January 66.
Yes, it was a coup had occurred, and the names we had were Nzogu and Ade Moyoga and so on. Then later, it turned out that people from certain areas were not targeted. So there's a counter coup. Then the counter coup came. Lots of Igbo officers were killed all over where we had barracks, of course, in Kaduna, in Zaria, in Kano, in Ibadan, in Abeokuta, in Enugu.
In Enugu too?
I think so, yes. I think so. No, not in Enugu. Troops from the northern part of Nigeria moved from Enugu to Lagos. They came from 1st Battalion to form what was 6th Battalion in Ikeja under command of, if I remember clearly, Major Adekunle at the time, who then became Brigadier Adekunle, the Black Scorpion.
Oh, the Black Scorpion.
Of 3rd Marine Commando fame.
Oh, he was stationed in Enugu prior to this.
Yes, I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Now, I had wanted.
No. Your question was.
I had wanted to know how you were able to escape being, a target or being killed in the counter coup of July 1966. Buried Ike Nwachukwu at the time.
Okay, the thing was that my battalion commander then was Emeka Ojukwu in Kano. And our battalion was not involved in the coup in January at all. So during the course of the upheavals in the country generally, an order came from headquarters that troops from particular areas should go back to where they came from. So officers and men from eastern states went back to the east. Officers and men from the Midwest went to the Midwestern. And so those from the West also went to the West. Then a fresh order came that those from the West didn't have to move anymore. So that stopped. So at the point the counter coup came, nobody in my battalion was targeted directly. It was when we had Kano crisis that some of my officer colleagues were.
Which crisis was this?
There was a one in one that happened in
was it a religious crisis?
late August 1966.
Was it religious in nature?
No, it was the reaction to the killings. Reaction to the first coup, reaction to the counter coup, and so on.
Okay. All right. Now, by the time the war had became in full fledged, our findings shows that you were on the Nigerian side. No, you were still working on the Nigerian side.
Yes.
You didn't cross over to Biafra.
No, I didn't. No.
Why?
No, because I didn't believe in it. I didn't.
You didn't believe in Biafra.
I didn't believe in secession.
Okay, you wanted one Nigeria.
Of course, yes. I mean, coming from my background, an Igbo father, a Hausa Fulani mother, they grew up in Lagos. Where else should I be? I want united Nigeria. So I wanted to want united Nigeria. So I didn't go.
Were you the only Igbo officer at that time?
Well, I wouldn't know. I can speak for myself. I was a lieutenant at the time. In my early close to my late 20s.
You're in your late 20s. Okay. Most of you were young at the time.
No, we were young people, yes.
Oh, okay. So now, post the war, at the end of the war...
So I didn't believe in secession.
Okay.
So I didn't go to the East. And my parents were in Lagos.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't go...
That explains it. Okay. So now, post the war, okay? Now, the Igbo Gowon declared no victor, no vanquish, war won. I watch a lot of the televised speeches.
Right.
He sounded very interested in the human parts of the Biafran soldiers. He occasionally referred them to as brothers.
Yes,
right?
we were. Yes, in the military, we are brothers and sisters. Reason is simple. In the course of danger, no father, no mother, no brother, no sister, blood brother. Those next to you are your brethren. You die together or live together. So we have this bond of closeness, loyalty to one another.
Oh.
So I wasn't surprised that Gowon referring to them as our brothers. Yes, they are brothers.
Okay, so at the end of the war...
Oh, we are brothers.
Yeah, at the end of the war, soldiers who fought on the Biafra earlier on had crossed over to the Biafran side,
right,
were now reintegrated into the Nigerian Army.
Yes, indeed.
You played a role in this, yes?
Yes, I did.
Their reintegration.
Yes, I did. I was now Deputy Military Secretary, Supreme Headquarters, towards the end of the war. And it was time to reabsorb the officers and men that fought on the Biafran side. And so there was this argument whether they should all be allowed to go or that some of them should come in. And I argued as a young officer then, I was a young major, and argued then that just as I was not responsible for fighting on the federal side, as our senior officers directed, ordered, and we went to fight. So my colleagues in the Biafra Armed Forces, my younger officers who didn't start the war, but had to fight the war because they said they should fight the war. So if any group should be held responsible, they are our senior officers who caused the war and who ordered the war on both sides. So the younger ones should not be punished, so they should be reabsorbed. And so I think captains and those who were captains and below in the three armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force.
Thank you so much for your efforts.
Wow.
In that reintegration.
Yes.
It actually did help in healings, in the healing process and reintegrating the eastern Nigeria, that's why Biafra, back into Nigeria.
Yeah. Now, and the chairman of the committee then was late General Robert Adeyinka Adebayo.
Late General Adeyinka Adebayo.
He was.
Yeah.
And my office clerked the proceedings.
You were the clerk of
That's my office.
Okay, your office.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. I wasn't the military. I was the military, but it's deputy.
Okay.
So
the deputy secretary of deputy
military secretary, Supreme Headquarters.
Supreme Headquarters. Okay, there's a word for it.
So
you were in the cabinet.
No. My office clerked the committee that interviewed those to be reabsorbed.
Okay.
And then recommended them for reabsorption.
For it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's move on to much later climes post Second Republic. There was the coup, and then you were called upon to serve as military governor. Obviously, you were still in the military now at this point. Okay, you were called to serve as military governor of Imo State.
Yes.
All right. This is a very exciting period for me also in history, where Imo State was literally economically bankrupt.
Right.
Salaries were being owed, and there were tensions there. You walked in the first day, no money to run. People were being owed left, right, and center. Yes, just if you could walk us through your service in this period.
Okay, so the war ended, and I went back to regular soldiering. And in the later years, I was appointed military governor of Old Imo State. And that was the very first time that I walked in the southeast, in the Igbo-speaking area.
Oh, that was your first time?
Very first time.
Serving in eastern Nigeria?
Indeed. Because we had a policy in the army at the time that if you came from southern Nigeria, you were posted to northern units. And if you're in the northern units,
you were posted south.
Or you're from there, you're posted to south. So you find that most of my northern colleagues were in the southern part, and most of the southern colleagues were in the northern part of the country, just to forge unity. So I was then posted to Imo as governor. And that was my first time, like I said,
in the east.
Working in the east. I do visit.
Yes.
or I did visit, but not work there. So it was quite some experience for me. So I then our state was virtually bankrupt. The civil servants were owed several months' salary. Teachers were owed so much. Contractors were not paid. Yet the government that I took over from had done so much because they had established several industries but hadn't paid for
They
them.
were industrialization.
Yes.
They did focus on industrialization.
But they weren't meeting their obligation, paying for what they've set out. So, so I had to take that on and find a way to pay off all the debts, find a way to pay all the arrears and pay the salaries of our people and pay the pensions of the pensioners and reestablish the state as a viable state. And I use what I called at the time EMO formula.
EMO formula.
Right. We used EMO formula. We went on very robust tax drive. We got our officials to make money for the state by plugging all the loopholes and so on. And on the understanding that if the state's income wasn't enough to pay salaries to everyone, we would, rather than owe, we would agree that the worth of our state at the time was that X million naira that it was able to raise. Mm-hmm. And so we will pay people based
on whatever came in. So it was
exactly.
Prorated based on revenue.
Indeed.
Okay, so if we made $1 million,
yes,
we could pay based on $1 million
yes.
versus, let's say, the cost of running the state is 10 million.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, if we got 1 million, we operated based on 1 million.
Indeed.
Oh, but during this period of economic downturn for old Imo states, yes, I think Imo State had been split up since then.
Yes, it was split up to Imo, Abia, and a good part of Ebonyi State.
And a part of Ebonyi State, a good part of Ebonyi State. Okay,
right.
All right. So, but it was the same period of economic downturn that you built the Imo domestic airport.
No, it wasn't completed in my time. I conceived it.
You conceived it. Okay.
Then did all the designs, started the fundraising for it.
You did fundraising.
Right. And then when Babangida School came in place and he became the president, I was reassigned back to the army. And Alison Madueke, who was my counterpart in Anambra at the time, because he was governor of Anambra State, moved to Imo, and he continued with the project. And then when he also left, Amadi Ikweche, a naval officer, took over, and he continued with the project. When Amadi Ikweche was also posted out, it was now Tony Ogogwa, another naval officer. He continued and virtually completed it. And then James Aneke, another naval officer, was the one that
commissioned it.
Under Abacha.
Under Abacha, oh, okay. So it
So
started from Buhari's regime.
Yes, and
through IBB, and then was commissioned under Abacha. All right. I hear often that that's one.
That was my baby.
Yes. I hear often that that's one example of a community project.
Yes.
It wasn't built necessarily by government fund. It was built by the commonwealth of the people contributing towards it.
Yeah, because when I asked the federal government to build an airport for Imo, because we had 19 states at the time. It was only my state at the time, Imo, that didn't have an airport. Others had aerodromes and so on, but you could land, but there's nowhere to land in old Imo. So I decided we should build an airport. And I made the demand on the federal government, Buhari's government at the time. And I was told that there was no money to build an airport. So I asked for approval. I said, then give me the approval to build the airport. And I could see the smile on the faces of Buhari and Idiabu at the time. Saying, where would you find the money? Okay, you can have the approval. So they gave me the approval to build an airport. I came back to my cabinet at the time and told them, that we had approval to build an airport, but we didn't have the money to go to the airport. What would we do? Knowing the spirit of the Igbo person, or Igbo people, I approached them because at this point I had done a few things in the state that gave my people of all Imo State the impression or the belief in me that I wouldn't misuse their money.
Oh.
So we went for fundraising. We went around and told people, and they're all delighted to do so. So we started the fundraising. And so that airport should really be called the Igbo People's Airport. Not, to be honest, because it's their money that built the airport. But over the years, there have been improvement by the federal government because they took the airport over.
Oh, yes. And that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, now.
But it's now Sam Mbakwe Airport.
Sam Mbakwe Airport.
International Airport. And I conceived the airport as a cargo airport. Reason being, at that time, it was popular for our traders to go to Taiwan.
Oh.
And they were flying their goods to Port Harcourt or Lagos by air. So I thought if we built a cargo airport,
it will help the trade.
So if you look at the runway, it's still not fully used. We did it to carry 747 airplanes. But the approval they gave me was to carry 737s. But we pushed it to be able to carry as a sample and prepare the ground. So any day they wish to add to the runway, that can be done.
It should be done.
And then, thank goodness now, there's a cargo terminal at Owerri Airport, now Sambakwe Airport.
That's great. That's great.
So that's for me, dream come true.
Thank you so much for that, because it has really contributed to the growth of the economy in that houses, Aba, Moahia, Owerri, that whole area, the entire axis. Thank you so much for that vision. All right. Now, you said when after IBB's Palace School, when there was change of administration, you were called back into the army. Okay. But I thought you were called back into the federal government. You got appointed into government.
The philosophy of governance then was that only officers of a rank of colonel or its equivalent in the Army and the Navy should be military governors.
Oh, okay.
And I was already a one-star general. I was the brigadier at the time, and now called brigadier general. So I had to be reassigned to the Army. So I was reassigned to the Army and appointed to Adjutant General of the Nigerian Army at the time. They have a new nomenclature for it now. I think of Chief of Administration or so like that.
Oh, okay.
Now in the present organization of the Army. In my time, it was Adjutant General. So I was Adjutant General of the Army. And I was there for a year plus. I was then appointed Federal Minister of Employment, Labor and Productivity.
Oh, that was your first appointment in, what do I use for it now? Political office in the military?
No.
In the Federal Council. What was it called? Governing Council? Federal...
In my time, it was the first under Buhari was Supreme Headquarters.
Okay, Supreme Headquarters. Okay.
Then it became Armed Forces Ruling Council.
Armed Forces Ruling Council.
When Babangida was
in charge.
Was in charge.
Okay. It was at this point you were appointed into the Ministry of Employment,
Labor and Productivity.
Labor and Productivity. So that's where you said, okay. There's very much record of that. What was?
Oh wow! Yes.
What was your service in this?
No. In fact, it was for me one of my most exciting appointments because when I was appointed Minister of Employment, Labor and Productivity, people thought I was the end of my career.
Okay.
Because that ministry was like a dead end. No one wanted it.
A lot of people also see it so today.
It depends on who is running it.
Manning it.
Right. So when I got there, I looked at the scenario in the country, and I decided that I should lay more emphasis on employment and productivity. Whilst I dealt with labor as labor. Those are the unions, right? So I set up what was called then the Nigerian Directorate of Employment.
Oh, you were the one that set up NDE, Nigerian Directorate of Employment. Okay.
I did. So I set up the NDE with the sole aim of creating jobs for young Nigerians, particularly the undergraduates.
Yeah.
So we had programs, 4 major programs to help young graduates realize themselves, and then to also provide employment for the Nigerian youth. And I'm glad that directorate played this role in our time in providing job opportunities for young people. We had at the time what I called a job creation guarantee loan scheme, in which I had 20 banks on my list, and I got money from federal government, warehoused in those banks.
So, really, I was saying that it's very exciting, it's very visionary, because, I mean, in the 21st century, it's now referred to like entrepreneurship, development, and innovation.
All of those things are in
you already did in the
everything.
80s and 90s,
Yes,
early 90s,
yes,
late 80s. Okay. Yeah. And today we're talking about co-creation hubs. We're talking about
it's all part
incubation centers and funding, startup funding, startup support.
Yeah.
You did that way back.
Yes, indeed. The unfortunate thing about our country is that there's no continuity. All right, the NDE program was started by government. The intention in the end would be, because government couldn't do it alone. Federal government couldn't provide all the jobs for everybody. So I brought in the private sector. I had a huge board of 53 people.
Oh, the board, 53 persons on the board.
From the private sector, from the ministries, from law firms, and so on and so forth, on the board, to give all the necessary input we require to build an employment commission. My idea was this: set up NDE, initially supported by our government, with the private sector involvement, because the private sector posted to me officers from the banks and their companies working in NDE for free. We weren't paying them. They were still being paid.
The sector were working with the government for free on this.
Yes. They were working full time for NDE, and have been paid by the various companies and banks. Idea was, once we're fully established, we will rename the NDE from National Directorate of Employment to National Employment Commission, which will now be handled completely by the private sector. So the private sector would then have the responsibility to provide jobs for the populace, not government per se. But no sooner than I left and the new minister came, he didn't understand the dream.
There was no continuity.
Because in my place, in the ND, in the Ministry of Employment, there were no contracts to award. On a serious
really?
note.
Yeah, that's true. That's why people avoided it.
On a serious note, all right? So it's your ingenuity and the ingenuity of your people working with you that made the place what it became. Now, I had asked President Babangida at the time for the authority to build a new rail line in this country and build new roads using the Nigerian young peasants, young engineers and young people. I'd asked at that time for about 500 million naira.
500 million naira.
Which was a lot of money then.
Yeah.
To do that. We would have used young engineers under supervision of some older engineers to cut new rail line, and cut new roads all over the country. And then like if you're assigned to a gang to do a particular road, at some point there'll be a billboard, concrete billboard, showing the names of those who built the roads. And the whole idea was because they built it, the young Nigerians built the road, when they all raise their own families, and when they get to a particular point on the road, they stop and say, "My child, look at name number 120 there. That's my name. We built this road. What would you do for your own country when you get older?" So that was the spirit that I ran the Ministry of Employment, Labor and Productivity with. And then I went beyond that, the Provident Fund, then it was called, where people contribute workers' company money. I upgraded it to what is now NISST or something. And I just,
is it NSIT? Yeah? Is it the Social Insurance Trust Fund?
Indeed. I was the one that
you initiated in.
I changed it.
Social Insurance Trust Fund.
Indeed.
NSIT.
I was the one, me and my team, that changed the Provident Fund to that. So today it houses huge sums of money, tremendous amount of money, that they could not lend to government for projects. I did it for a country.
Yeah, and here was the high point.
As Minister of Employment, Labor and Productivity.
Here was I thinking the high point of your service was really when you were Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
Because
I know.
You became Minister of Foreign Affairs at a time when Nigeria was was under pressure. Okay, it's under pressure. Then there was this structural adjustment program. All right, and then you moved from saying no, it's not going to be diplomacy as before. Exactly. We're doing economic diplomacy.
Indeed.
All right, and I thought that was because it's recorded that you grew the non-oil sector through diplomacy.
Yes.
So I mean, billions of naira. Of those days.
Yes, indeed.
So,
yes.
Can you tell us of your service there, because it was really great.
Oh, okay. So let me be done with the Ministry of Employment, Labor and Productivity.
Okay.
The productivity arm was very, very weak, so I set up a productivity commission and appointed Professor John Ukebu to be the head. Today, it has helped to enhance the productivity challenges of our country. Finally, for Ministry of Labor, had I stayed longer there, would have built those highways, because I got all the cement companies to key into my vision. We had decided to build concrete roads, not asphalted, using the various of the cement from Kalago, from Ewekero, from Sokoto, and so on, to build our roads. Had that happened, the cost of building roads would be much, much cheaper. There'd be more commitment from the youth of the country. There won't be this young men and women run around aimlessly on the streets, and they're doing because they'll be geared to work, so on. But that didn't happen. So I was appointed Foreign Minister of Nigeria. Again, when I was appointed Foreign Minister, I wasn't happy about it.
You were not?
No. Because I saw my vision of mobilizing the Nigerian youth to doing things for the country that truncated. So I became Minister of Foreign Affairs. When I was at the Nigerian Institute for Policy and Studies in Kuru, NIPS in Kuru, my dissertation was titled "Strategies for Defense of Nigeria." Now, defense there, then we carried guns and shooting around the place. It wasn't all military. It was looking at every policy of the country. Haven't defined what Nigeria truly was at the time and should be in education, in industry, in all the policies of government. Now, we now know what Nigeria represents. How do we defend Nigeria? That's the only aspect that is military. How do you defend Nigeria? Then that will determine how many divisions of army you would have, how many squadrons of the Air Force or group that you have, how many ships that you have for defense of our territorial waters, and so on. That's the only aspect. Or how many men and women that you require to police the country properly. So I then said to myself, as foreign minister, the reason why a country is strong is if your economy is strong. And since foreign policy is an extension of domestic policy, if you have a weak economy, there's no how you can have a strong state or a strong country.
Yeah, that's true.
And at that time, we were under so much pressure to restructure our economy. And Babangida, as the president, and his team, I was one of them, then decided to embark on a structural adjustment program, SAP. Now, here was I, as Minister of Employment when SAP came into place. Here was I trying to mobilize the Nigerian youth to support our economy and our state. Doing something, building roads, doing all kinds of things. Now, as Foreign Minister, should I just go and be clicking champagne glasses with my colleagues all over the world, or do something with diplomacy?
Yeah.
So I called my close staff. I had two special advisors, and Professor Jide Oshuntoku, who was then at the University of Lagos. I had then Dr. George Obiozo, who was in NIIA, was a senior fellow there. Later became Professor George Obiozo. And I told him what I wanted them to do, gave them the directive, and got them to flesh out a good memo for me. So I took the memo to the president and said to him, "Sir, we needed to change the foreign policy thrust of our country from purely political affairs to economic affairs," and showed him how doing so would support our SAP. And he bought into it. So I came back and we drafted it. Nice address. with members of my ministry. That's Foreign Affairs now. And then went on to Saturday, 30th June, I think it was, of that year. And at the NIA, I invited the diplomatic corps, so on, and unveiled Nigeria's new foreign policy thrust. And then in the ministry, restructured my ministry, and then had economic desks in every mission that I had anywhere in the world.
In the embassy?
Yes.
High Commission?
Yes, the embassies and so.
You had economic desks there. They didn't exist before that?
No, they didn't.
Oh.
No, they didn't. So we now recruited young men and young women who are economists and so on, who also understood trade and so on, and then posted them there. And their job, and the job of the ministry, job of the mission then, all my mission was to ensure that they brought businesses and investments into Nigeria.
Into the country.
And they did that. And they did that. And we were able to support IBB's SAP.
This was how the non-oil sector from at that time.
Yes, indeed. And to practicalize it, any time I was going on an official visit anywhere, I took with me a number of business people, men and women. And anytime the president was going on a visit, in his entourage, official entourage, were business people. So I had the Antatas, the Shonekons, the Siodos, all the big business people joining me, and as my delegation or as our delegation, and so when we met, they were there in official capacity, not as private business people. So they helped us in fashioning out questions to ask, looking through agreements to sign, and then we opened doors for them to do their businesses.
Created opportunities, platforms for them to do international.
MK Abiola is also
benefited from.
They come along with us at the time, yes.
Wow, and that was
and that was economic diplomacy. Today, I'm glad to say that the entire world
has adopted.
Exactly.
Yeah, you see that across the world today. Presidents are traveling, and now they go along with entrepreneurs, businessmen, and captains of industry.
We started going.
Nigeria took the lead in that under your leadership.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Let's talk about another interesting part of your career. I believe at the end of IBB service, you continued in the military.
Sorry?
At the end of IBB's administration.
Yes.
You continued in the military.
No, I retired before he left.
Oh, you retired? Yeah. At what point were you GOC, General Officer Commanding?
Indeed. No, when I left as Provost Marshal, became governor of Old Imo State, from governor to Adjutant General of the Army, to Minister of Employment, Labor and Productivity, to Foreign Minister. I did that for a while. Then I was posted back to the Army.
To the Army.
As GOC, General Officer Commanding 1 Mechanized Division, Kaduna. It was from there that I retired. So, 29th August 1990.
1990.
And I was reappointed immediately back to the ministry, now as a civilian, the second time as the foreign minister.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had first and second as minister. So you came back as a civilian
and I'm
minister.
I'm the only one leaving that's done that.
Oh.
I'm appointed twice too.
Twice. That's military and then civilian. Oh, okay. Now, I hear that when you served as GOC, you became the first Igbo person post-Civil War to be appointed as GOC, General Officer Commanding,
Yes,
in
indeed.
Nigerian military.
Yes, yes. Indeed.
How, and then it was on the north. I mean, how did you feel about that? How was it received at the time?
Yes, well, it's military posting. Just as I was posted from one job to the other, was another posting. We signed on to serve anywhere we were posted by land, air, or sea. So I was posted from foreign minister to GOC, one mechanized division, and I welcomed it because at that time, a few of my coursemates may have been GOCs, and it would have been a sad testimony for me, not to be one when I retired from the army. So I was so delighted that I was appointed the GOC, and I did my best there too. I left my legacies there. Well, I mean, that's left my colleagues in the military to tell you what I left my legacies there.
Well, yeah, okay. We'll still with some couple of military. Maybe I get to ask them if you're not going to say. Okay. Then, all right. Post that Nigeria ended, the Civil War ended in Nigeria, and then came 1999. It was now the Third Republic or Fourth Republic.
Fourth.
Okay, so that's Abiola's 1993 period is counted as Third Republic.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then came the Fourth Republic, the current republic. Okay, and then you stepped forward as a senator.
Yes,
representing Abia North.
Yeah, Abia North.
Abia North. Okay, and then kind of records in the House showed that you were not too pleased with the executive, the way some things were handled in Nigeria.
Yes, well, the National Assembly that I served in was truly independent of the executive, and that brought a lot of bad blood between President Obasanjo particularly and the then Senate President, late Chubo Kadimo, and the Speaker of the House, late Galin Abba. Both of them, Chuba and Gali, and most of us in the National Assembly then, wanted, and rightly so, an independent National Assembly. We couldn't be a rubber stamp to whatever the president or the executive wanted. And executive then didn't want that. They just want whatever they sent to us, we just had approved. So a good number of us weren't happy with the way the executive was trying to railroad us to do things. And so we stood up for the independence of the National Assembly or the legislature, just as you ought to have an independent judiciary. That doesn't mean that we will not collaborate, but he won't be rubber stamp.
Yes. There has to be that check and the balance of conduct.
Right. And that was the senator.
Yeah. After wrap up, I want to ask about your presidential ambition. You looked, and I think a lot of your thinking at this period was Nigeria needed to be restructured for peace, prosperity, effectiveness, oneness. All right, and you thought perhaps it's going to run for office as the president and then get this accomplished.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in a true federal system of government. The major problem Nigeria's had in running itself is the very fact that we've been running a unitary government. Even
though we call it federal government.
Exactly. It's a top-down affair. If the president says this, National Assembly must follow, the judiciary must comply. And that's not it. and then the wrong impression created that the states are unviable. And I hold a completely different view, that no state in Nigeria is unviable, not one. Every state in this country has enough land, enough human beings and their capacity, enough mineral resources. Yes, we all can be the same. Lagos State has so much money. Kano State has so much money. Akwa Ibom also has so much money, and so on, right? From oil and so on and so on and so on. So we have just a few of them that have this kind of money because government gives them money. But if we let them use their resources to develop themselves, Nigeria's economy would be 100 times stronger than it is today. And the development will be faster across the country. And the level of corruption will be limited, because whereas in some areas people think, well, it's a federal government money, they can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But if it's state money raised by the state from their resources, any governor or group of people that tried to do what is happening in the country, the people who are directly impacted by that will come after them.
Yes.
So there'll be accountability. So I then thought that we needed to rewrite our constitution to allow proper federalism, fiscal and political. And since President Obasanjo wasn't fully ready to do that, yes, he set up a national conference, and then gave what do you call it now? No go areas.
Areas that should not be discussed.
Like proper federation and so forth. Or the I don't want to offend anybody, but so let me just did that now. No, I mean, didn't see that the need for a proper federation, taking us back to what our founding fathers did. They were wiser now than us. They knew Nigeria better than we have shown that we do. By having proper federation, the northern region, eastern region, western region, then later Midwestern region, they all had their own constitutions. They had their own, their own resources, and they paid taxes to the federal government. So I thought that I should run for office of president and see how, had I won, I could restructure the country back to what it was, but not to bring the regions back, but to use the present states as the federating units.
Okay.
But have the states have their resources and pay taxes to the federal government.
In other words, having the current states structure operates the 1963 constitutional formula.
Yes. If it becomes difficult for us to have 6 zones, that ideally we should have 6 zones doing that as a federating units. But people have said, they didn't want to return to Egypt. So I said, fine, all right. Okay, so fine. Keep your structure, or keep your resources. No state in Nigeria is bereft of mineral resources. No state in Nigeria is bereft of land. No state in Nigeria is bereft of human capacity. What we lack is the will to let them use their resources to build themselves up. So some states would be poorer than the others. But if I lived in Abia State, for instance, I don't expect Abia State to be as buoyant as Lagos State or Kano State. Therefore, if I lived in Abia State, I would my standard of living would be at par with our earnings, and I'd just be as happy there as somebody in Lagos any more than I am earning at a much higher
Income.
cost of living.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my argument. So I tried, and I also thought that we needed to do something about the education, the quality of education in this country. We are graduating people who can't find jobs. So if we reoriented them to graduating from the university with some skills, then they can become self-employed. They can set up their own businesses and employ people. Therefore, taking a lot of people off the streets.
Thank you so much. I mean, I have seen you pursue this also, despite not successfully completing your pursuit for the office of the president. You've also continued with the Patriots.
Yeah.
You participated in the Confab.
Yes, the
National Confab.
I led the Southeast to that.
You led the Southeast to it. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And I want to thank them for giving me the opportunity. Because I occasionally read some funny comments, or he fought for the federal government during the Civil War, so he's not an Igbo man. But I'm just as Igbo as anybody. Just as Igbo as anybody.
You get that comment?
Yes, I do. I do, but I ignore them. Yet, of course, in spite of all those, I was appointed to lead the Southern delegation to the 2014 National Conference, and I was also elected by my people to go to the Senate. To represent them. So, I mean, so the majority of the people understand who I am, and if you would complain, I mean, that's normal.
That's okay. Okay. I wanted to wrap up, but there's a part in history, especially with some persons that we've sat with in the past. We sat with Ekole Inyam, who incidentally is with you in the Patriot, and also aggressively pursuing for restructuring.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. He's also written a book in that light, and he tried to, unseat your government at that time. If coups were if you were, I don't know, unfortunate to have been there at that time, it may have affected your life, but you're still friends today. You are friends today.
Yes, of course. I mean, it was just an episode.
It was an episode, so you've overlooked it.
Oh, yeah, completely.
But history shows that you headed the tribunal and tried those that participated in his coup.
Yes, I was tribunal chairman and tried the best we could to ensure that only those who confessed their participation, or those who expressly were caught, were the ones that were found guilty. So we let off so many of them.
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, another court was set up headed by General Ike Nwachukwu, and all those that were set free, unfortunately, lost their lives.
Those you had earlier on set free were brought back
and
sentenced to death.
They were retried.
You had already tried them.
Yes.
Let them go, and then Wawa Kure's court found them guilty and then sentenced them to death, and they lost their lives.
Yes, some of them, yes.
Some of them. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, now, there was something Colonial said. I wanted to fact check with you if you were aware of it at the time. He said a good number of their strike force were armed robbers hired Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
You say that.
No, they didn't bring it up in
They
my
didn't
court.
bring it up in the
In my-
tribunal.
that-
Oh, well,
that-
he didn't sit in your tribunal, did he?
No, he has
He
kids.
has kids, yes. You didn't know that?
No.
He mentioned it, and I was wanted to check if someone who was also active in government at that time.
No. Those that came before my court were
Military officers.
and the soldiers.
They were non-civilians. Then three. Okay.
I can't remember. Yes, there were two civilians. Somebody, the Ogboru brothers.
Oh.
Ogboru brothers, but
They let them go.
no. They were found guilty. One of them fled, and they were tried in absentia.
Okay. Is the same Oboru creative today?
Yes, the same one, the same great Ogboru.
Of today. Okay. All right. I want to especially thank you for the role you played in this country. You played a very deep roles from being a very dedicated reporter, working for the daily service, to the federal government set up a morning post. All right, and then enlisting in the army, playing a major role in keeping this country one. And then I want to especially thank you for standing up to see to the reintegration of Biafran soldiers.
It was unfair to do that.
It's well, thank you for having a heart.